Hare Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Hare Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Hare Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare Ram Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare Hare Ram Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Hare Hare Krishna Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare Ram Hare Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare Ram Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Hare Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare Ram Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare Hare Ram Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare Hare Ram Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare Hare Ram Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare Hare Ram Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare Hare Ram Hare Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Hare Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare Ram Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare Hare Ram Hare 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 Krishna Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram Hare 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 Krishna Hare Hare Ram Hare 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 Krishna Hare Hare Ram Hare 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 Krishna Hare Hare
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Dandavat
Pranam, sir. Welcome Chaitanya Chandra Prabhu. Hari Bol.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Hare Hare. The chanting going on?
No, finish. Once again, welcome all of you for our Saturday Bhagavatam class. We are covering 10th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam and we are in the 63rd chapter. So we have our teacher, His Grace Sri Chaitanya Chandra Das Prabhuji. We welcome Prabhuji by chanting 3 times Hare Krishna Maha Mantra. All together, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna,
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare,
Rama,
Hare
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 Rama,
Rama, Hare
Rama
Rama, Rama
Hare
Rama,
Hare,
Hare Krishna,
Krishna Hare Krishna,
Hare
Krishna
Hare,
Krishna Hare
Hare
Hare,
Rama,
Hare
Hare
Rama,
Rama,
Rama Rama, Hare
Hare
Hare.
Rama
Hare
Rama Rama
Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Hare,
Krishna, Krishna Hare
Hare
Hare,
Rama, Hare Rama,
Hare
Rama
Ram,
Rama,
Ram
Hare
Hare
Ram,
Rama.
Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Sri Chaitanya Prabhu, you can take over.
Hare Krishna. Om Jnanatimirandhasya Jnananjana-shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamani Dadati Swaha Padantika Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Shri Guru Vaishnavansha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunatham Nitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Pada Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakham Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Meshtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swaminiti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Sunyavadi Vashyatya Deshatharine Namo Mahavadanyaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namine Gauratuse He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namaste Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Haripriya Vanchakalpa Tarubhyasya Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि गौरभक्तवृंद हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Oh, today I am quite tired. Today from morning I am just there's IDC class. The IDC Maharaj is doing communication, so IDC is going on. That I gave 4 hours, in afternoon one class, evening class, and this is fourth class. So you have to keep me awake when I am speaking. I'm so tired. 4 classes in a day. It is nice, but I am going to ask you only all the lessons today. So today you have to draw lessons from the today's pastime. Are you ready?
Yes, Prabhuji. Hari Bol.
Bona fide lessons, huh?
Sorry, Prabhuji.
Bona fide.
Jai.
Not out of parampara lessons. So now homework is with you. Of course, I prepared a little bit. Let's see. So you are able to see the screen. Lord Krishna fights with Banasur. Who would like to read? Arjun, who has come after a long time. Okay, Anuttam Gopal. Huh?
Yes, Prabhuji. 3 weeks absent, Prabhuji. But I was in Ujjain. I told you, no? I sent you a message.
Yeah. Achha. So Anuttam Gopal has raised the hand. He wants to read. Okay, yes.
Thank you, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Chapter 63. Lord Krishna fights with Banasura. This chapter describes the battle between Lord Krishna and Lord Shiva, as well as Shiva's glorification of Krishna after the Lord had cut off Banasura's arms. When Aniruddha did not return from Shonitapura, his family and friends passed the 4 months of the rainy season in extreme distress. When they finally heard from Narada Muni how Aniruddha had been captured, a large army of the best Yadava warriors under Krishna's protection set off for Banasura's capital and laid siege to it. Banasura fiercely opposed them with his own army of equal size. To help Banasura, Lord Shiva, accompanied by Kartigeya and a horde of mystic sages, took up arms against Balarama and Krishna. Bana began fighting against Satyaki, and Bana's son fought against Samba. All the demigods assembled in the sky to witness the battle. With his arrows, Lord Krishna harassed the followers of Lord Shiva, and by putting Lord Shiva into a state of confusion, he was able to destroy Banasura's army. Kartikeya was so strongly beaten by Pradyumna that he fled the battlefield, while the remnants of Banasura's army, harried by the blows of Lord Balarama's club, scattered in all directions. Enraged to see his army's destruction, Banasura rushed Krishna to attack him, but the Lord immediately killed Bana's chariot driver and broke his chariot and bow, and then he sounded his Panchajanya conch shell. Next, Banasura's mother, trying to save her son, appeared naked in front of Lord Krishna, who averted his face to avoid looking at her. Seeing his chance, Bana fled into a city. After Lord Krishna had thoroughly defeated the ghosts and hobgoblins fighting under Lord Shiva, the Shiva Jwara weapon, a personification of fever with 3 heads and 3 legs, approached Lord Krishna to fight him. Seeing the Shiva Jwara, Krishna released his Vishnu Jwara. The Shiva Jwara was overwhelmed by the Vishnu Jwara. Having nowhere else to turn for shelter, the Shiva Jwara began to address Lord Krishna, glorifying him and asking for mercy. Lord Krishna was pleased with the Shiva Jwara, and after the Lord had promised him freedom from fear, the Shiva Jwara bowed down to him and departed. Next, Banasura returned and attacked Lord Sri Krishna again, wielding all kinds of weapons in his 1,000 hands. But Lord Krishna took his Sudarshana disc and began cutting off all the demons' arms. Lord Shiva approached Krishna to pray for Banasura's life, and when the Lord agreed to spare him, he spoke as follows to Shiva. Bana does not deserve to die, since he was born in the family of Prahlada Maharaja. I have severed all but 4 of Bana's arms, his false pride, and have annihilated his army because they were a burden to the earth. Henceforth, he will be free from old age and death and remain fearless in all circumstances. He will be one of your principal attendants. Assured he had nothing to fear, Banasura then offered his obeisances to Lord Krishna and had Usha and Aniruddha seated on their wedding chariot and brought before the Lord. Krishna then set off for Dwaraka with Aniruddha and his bride leading the procession. When the newlyweds arrived at the Lord's capital, they were honored by the citizens, the Lord's relatives, and the Brahmanas. Thank you, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Yeah. So, the slide is not. See now the PPTs are becoming smaller and smaller, shorter and shorter. This chapter is only fighting description. Only one slide is there in this. You see? Able to see? Lord Krishna fights with Banasura. You're able to see the slide?
Yes,
PPT?
Prabhu.
Yeah. So who is fighting whom with whom?
Krishna is fighting Banasura.
Krishna and Banasura. You see, Krishna and his Banasura has 1,000 arms. And who is he on the peacock?
Kartikeya.
Kartikeya.
Kartikeya fighting with whom?
Pradyumna.
Pradyumna. I don't know where is he. Pradyumna. And Ganesh fighting with? Ganpati is also there. Ganesh description is not there, no? And fighting with whom?
Not mentioned.
Huh? So it's there. Okay. And what is Lord Shiva doing?
He is leaving the Shiva Jwara, Prabhuji, you mentioned.
No. Here what he is doing? You see?
He's yawning.
Yawning. So there is one yawning weapon. Which Lord Krishna had released on Lord Shiva. He started yawning.
We are expert in that, Prabhuji, in any case. I am expert in that.
Without weapon, we yawn. There is no need of weapon also. And especially in my class, we all yawn. Right? No?
Except in your class, Prabhuji.
I don't know. I cannot see all of you. And he is Balram. He is Balram. Pradyumna. Nice picture. So Lord Krishna fights with Lord Shiva and Banasur. Lord Krishna fights with Shiva. Okay. See, that's the only slide there. Anyway, the story is fight with Banasur. So why the fight arose was because Banasur's daughter Usha and Anuruddha, they were caught in the CCTV. They were together in the inner chambers. And when Banasur came to know what is happening, he captured Aniruddha. There was a fight between Aniruddha and Banasur, but Banasur was very powerful, so he captured Aniruddha. And then for almost like 4 months during rainy season, Banasur had kept him captive, Aniruddha. So the Yadus were worried, where is our Aniruddha? When is our Aniruddha? How Aniruddha went there to Banasur's capital?
She was taken by Chitralekha, Usha's friend,
Yeah, he was kidnapped.
kidnapped.
When he was sleeping, Prabhuji, when he was asleep, right?
Yeah, and he found himself in front of Usha. So he was kidnapped and taken. So without his mistake, he had to fight and be caught. So anybody of you have experience of kidnap? So many incidents of kidnapping here. So, no?
We know about your experience.
But you never had kidnapping. And I pray, hope and pray nobody should have. But we read some. Who was kidnapped before?
Rukmini Devi.
Rukmini Devi kidnapping. And here then our Aniruddha is kidnapped. And then he is taken there. And then he was kept 4 months. And then Yadus then attacked Shonitpur with 12 division Akshoni Sena. And then even Banasur also brought his army. And then there was a fight. So there was a fight between Lord Shiva and Lord Krishna. And there was a fight between Kartikeya, Pradyumna, and Banasur's son versus Samba, and Bana versus Satyaki. Like that there was fight. So Lord Shiva had come with huge army. He had army of whom? All ghosts and hobgoblins and preta, bhuta, pishacha. And Lord Shiva's ornaments are all deadly creatures. You know what is the necklace of Lord Shiva?
Snake.
Skull.
Scale also, snake also. And what is the belt of Lord Shiva for his dhoti?
Sorry, can you repeat?
Scorpions, Prabhuji.
The scorpions are the his kundal.
Tigers.
Pardon?
Tigers.
Tiger skin is his dress.
And the belt is the snake.
Snake.
So very risky belt. The snake. And the kundal are the scorpions. So this is Lord Shiva's bhushan. So like that, along with his followers, hobgoblins and ghosts, he also entered the battle. And Lord Shiva and his followers. And then there was fierce fight between Lord Shiva and Lord Krishna. So they describe that he had this trident. So he was fighting with a trident. And Lord Vishnu had his bow. What is the name of Lord Vishnu's bow?
Sharangam.
Saranga bow. So this was the bow from where Lord got this bow, Saranga.
Varuna.
Actually, this he got during the Samudra Manthan. Is one of the Ratnas, 14 Ratnas, Sarang. The Sarang is the bow which he uses. And of course, one more thing he got was Kaustubh. No, Kaustubhani is actually given by Kaliya. But here, Saranga he had got in from the Samudra Manthan. Then there was Pashupat Astra of Lord Shiva. So Lord Shiva took Pashupat Astra. When the trident was not working, then he took out Pashupat Astra. Then Lord Vishnu took out Narayana Astra. So like that, there was fierce fight between two of them, Lord Shiva and Lord Vishnu. And then finally, Lord Vishnu had the weapon of yawning weapon. He shot the yawning weapon, and Lord Shiva started yawning. Until that time, then he got time. Lord Krishna started attacking the army and destroyed a lot of army. So, so like that, there was fierce battle. And then Pradyumna attacked Kartikeya. And he attacked him with so many arrows that Kartikeya's whole body was filled with blood and he fled from there. And Banasur was fighting with Satyaki, but he saw that my army is being so much beaten and defeated by Lord Krishna. So he left Satyaki and Banasur attacked Krishna. And there was fight between Lord Krishna and Banasur. So, so you had heard about the Ramayana battle. There also some comedy things happened. I just remembered the battle of Ramayana. So one incident I remember. So once these monkeys and the Rakshasas were fighting, and there used to be huge fight, fierce fight between the Rakshasa and monkeys in Ramayana. So in the evening, all the Vanaras would gather. All the Vanaras would gather, and then they would discuss that what all they did today, what all parakram they did. So evening they would say that Manish Kumara, this Rakshas, I killed this Rakshas, that Rakshas, So because at the end, actually Lord Ram would revive all the monkeys. And monkeys would come and then they would discuss. So once what happened, these monkeys at the end of the day when they were discussing what happened throughout the day. So one monkey was very lean and thin. So he said, today you know what I did? I did a very adventurous thing. Today I saw a big Rakshasa came in front of me. So I was not afraid at all. What I did? I took the sword from his hand. And I took the sword from his hand in my hand. So all the Vanaras were appreciating. My God, really? You did this? We thought you are such a poor fellow, you don't have strength. But you took the sword of that Rakshasa. Yes, I took the sword of that Rakshasa in my hand. And with that sword, I cut his right hand. My God, really amazing. All the Vanaras were appreciating. Then what you did? Then with that same sword, I cut the another hand, left hand of that Rakshasa. Wow. All the Vanaras started appreciating this weak Vanara. And then what you did? Then with that sword, I cut one of the legs of that Rakshasa, huge Rakshasa. Oh, wow. And then with that sword, I cut another leg. Everybody started clapping, all the Vanaras. And this Vanara was boasting about himself. They said, wow, you took the sword from his hand, you cut first one of his hand, then another hand, and then one leg, and another leg. Wonderful. One of the Vanaras, he asked, but why you did so much? Instead of cutting these hands and legs, you must have cut his head only, na? If you would have cut his head, that would have been good. पहले ही इसमें सरी काट देने का. You know what the Vanara replied?
Already done by somebody.
Who answered that? Who is that great devotee? I didn't see.
Praji myself.
Who? Name?
Manibhushan Ru.
You knew the story, huh? Where you heard? Yeah. This I heard from
I heard
Krishna.
from your video, Prabhu.
Krishna, I think block all of you from my YouTube videos because you all know what I'm doing.
Because I didn't heard, I assumed.
You assumed. Acha. So yeah, I told on YouTube video also. So already head was cut. So the head was cut already, and he just killed the killed person already. So like that they would boast. And also one more incident happened. Once there was fight between Neel and Prahasta. So Neel and I think this also I have told. So Neel and Prahasta they had a Ghamasan Yuddha. So basically the Lord Ram's army didn't have any weapons as such. And all these Rakshasa had huge weapon, Astra and Shastra. Once Prahasta with Rakshasa and Neel with Vanara, there was fight. So they, this Prahasta had a big Astra. He just chanted some mantras and divine arrow appeared. And he took that arrow and put on his bow and shot very powerfully at this Neel with a Vanara. So now this Neel, the arrow came with such blazing fire, with such speed, and that arrow became huge like a big missile. And it was coming with such speed towards Neel. Now everybody thought now Neel is dead. That's such a powerful arrow. What can he do now? That was Astra. With the mantra he shot Prahasta. So now that Neel, what he did was, when the arrow came, the missile came very near to him, he just, because he was chanting names of Lord Ram, he took with his hand only. He caught the arrow with his hand, which was so blazing fire powerful. He took the arrow with his hand, and with the same arrow, he started running behind Prahasta. So Prahasta got afraid, my God, what is doing? The Neel had no weapon. He took that same arrow. And then Prahasta was running ahead and Neel was running behind. Prahasta was running behind, Neel and ultimately caught him, and with that arrow only he killed Prahasta. Amazing, na? You have heard anybody doing like this? That is the power of Lord Sri Ram. Jai Sri Ram. Which is called Ram Ban. So basically, Lord Ram's army had no weapons, but without weapons, without such strength, they won because they had Ram Ban they had. So like that, I remembered Ramayana war by seeing this war, describing. So there is a war here also going on between Lord Krishna and Lord Shiva. So now who attacked Lord Krishna? Finally,
Banasur.
Banasur attacked Lord Krishna. So now Krishna started fighting with Banasur, and he, with his weapons, started attacking. And Banasur was tormented by Lord Krishna. So when Banasur was so much tormented by Lord Krishna's sharp arrows, immediately mother of Banasur came, Kotara. Her name is Kotara, and she appeared without clothes in the front. So Lord Krishna immediately closed his eyes, and that time Banasur fled away in the city. He went. Then that time Lord Shiva came fighting with Lord Vishnu. So Lord Shiva had the Shiva Jwar. He released Shiva Jwar, and Lord Vishnu released Vishnu Jwar. So what is the difference between Shiva Jwar and Vishnu Jwar?
One is hot, the other one is cold.
Which one is hot?
Shiva Jwara is hot.
Hot, and Vishnu Jwar is cold. So why? Which one is powerful, heat or cold?
Cold.
How? Just because it is Vishnu's.
It's Vishnu, you are so that it be hot or cold, that has to be more powerful.
Pardon?
Vishnu has to be powerful, Prabhu.
Acha.
Irrespective of heat or cold. But here it is cold.
No, actually Prabhupada writes somewhere that heat one may be able to tolerate, but cold is difficult to tolerate. Is it true or not?
Yes, in desert we are experiencing this.
It's there hot or cold?
We have extreme conditions, both winter and
60
Acha.
degrees in summer.
60 degrees Celsius.
Maximum it goes in the interior, and the city level 55 degrees.
My God, 60 I've never heard. In India, I think maximum 50 degrees. So it's hot. So heat, that's what I was trying to think, Gopal, right? Heat is one time we can tolerate, but cold is more difficult. Nah? Cold is more difficult to tolerate. So have you heard
We'll
this?
get above 50, we'll get a holiday, Broji.
If it goes above 50, holiday. If it goes below minus 10, it doesn't go below minus, it goes,
No consideration.
you can go minus anything. Acha.
4 and all is for regular here. Minus 4 and
minus
all.
5, minus 6,
Yeah.
minus 6.
Oh my God.
But no
Around
consideration.
minus 10 sometimes. Sometimes some
Minus
years
10
back,
also.
2012.
Acha. So which one you like? The cold or the heat?
You have to survey both.
Where we get holiday. That was
Whenever we get holiday, you like that. So just cold
But
is more.
Government thermometer never will go up above 50.
Acha. It is set, set to that level. Acha. So anyways, and there's one story you heard. There was once one person. Actually, he was working in company. There's like cold storage and all that, So once what happened, he went to one this cold storage, big cold storage are there, to store all those things. So he went to that cold storage, and then what happened? Suddenly it got locked, locked from inside, from outside. So he was not able to come out only. And cold storage, cold storage, how cold it is, and you get locked inside. And then his mobile was also not there with him, and he was not able to call. And he was saying, "Please open," and nobody was there, and he was caught inside the cold storage, And it is said that something you have some few hours, some 8 hours, the cold storage, then the person dies in cold storage. So he was thinking, my God, what will happen now? 8, 7, 6, that he was counting like that. And later, after some hours together, one person came there and he opened the door after many hours in the cold storage. And what he found was the person is dead. My God, the person got dead, caught in the cold storage. And then, actually, this is true story. Somebody I heard. He was dead, and then he saw how come he is dead in the cold storage. And then this watchman security, when he opened the cold storage, he saw this person dead. But later he found that although it's cold storage and this person has died, but what he found a strange thing.
No electricity was there. Actually, it was not working.
You heard, Mataji, already?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Hi, how he died?
Fear factor.
Because mind.
Out of fear?
Mind. Oh, mind imagines, na? Amazing, na? There's no electricity. Actually, it happened. There's no electricity basically, and but he was feeling, I am in a cold storage cot, and I have this many hours, so I will die. So mind is so powerful. There's something else about mind, Yeah. So, yes, Radhagovind Maharaj tells this story. So once Maharaj, Radhagovind Maharaj, he was sitting in his village, when he was young and like that. with others in the village. They sit sometimes in the katta evening and they talk, and they're talking something. So that time what happened? They were sitting together and somebody shouted, "Snake, snake, snake has come!" And then everybody is afraid and everybody started running. The snake, poisonous snake, and everybody they didn't see the snake, but this somebody shouted, "Snake, snake!" So they started running, and one person he also started running, and then he saw that something bit him on his leg. He thought, "My God, snake has bitten." And immediately he started shouting, and everybody came towards him. And he said, "Snake has bit me, snake has bit me." And then he started actually foaming in his mouth. Somebody is bitten by poison snake, he starts foaming. He started foaming. And then all, everybody came. And then they said, what is the test? Whether the snake was poisonous, how do you test? The snake was poisonous.
If it is a neurotoxic, we give some pepper or something to taste. If he's feeling taste.
They give mirchi.
Mirchi, pepper,
give-
some sort. But Prabhu, that is applicable only for the neurotoxic, the vein which affects brain and nervous system. If it is affecting the hemotoxic, heart and circulatory system, this may not be working. Dr. Anupam Gopal Prabhu and Maharaj may come.
Anyway, this is Maharaj's story. What he told, I am just repeating. So Maharaj told, we gave him the mirchi, and he said, "Our mirchi abhi actually tikha nahi laga," means the snake is poisonous. And mirchi agar tikha lag raha hai, to he is normal. Snake poisonous nahi hai. So then his foam was coming from his face, his mouth, and then he was given mirchi, and he said, "तीखा नहीं लग रहा है मुझे, तीखा नहीं लग रहा है." Then everybody was afraid. My God, mirchi this poisonous snake, and everybody was thinking what to do. And then one person he went and he saw nearby what is there exactly, where is the snake, and he saw a thorn, actually one thorn. On that thorn there was blood. On the thorn there was blood, and he saw that thorn, and he brought that thorn to this person, and he said, "This is the thorn which pricked your feet, and snake has not bitten you." But what happened? Without snake biting, what he showed, which symptoms he showed?
He was foaming and he didn't have the taste of the mirchi.
Amazing, no? It's real story. This is because of the power of the mind. The power of the mind. I think he would have died also if that person wouldn't have got thorn. And one third story, in short, power of mind. We tell this in our art of mind control. This is fictitious story. One person, he was going, and then he sat under the tree in the forest. He was tired and he was sleeping. And then there was a hole in which there was a snake living, and there was another hole in there the rat was living. So the snake came out from this place and he bit this person, a poisonous snake. And he bit the person and he went inside the hole. And the rat came out that time from the hole. And this person saw, "Arey, something has bitten me." And he saw this rat. And he saw, "You foolish rat, you bit me." He took the stone and chased away the rat. And the rat actually got angry. He chased me away, so he went inside. So after some time, what happened? The rat came outside and he bit this person and he went inside. And who came outside of the hole?
Snake.
Snake came. And the man saw that snake. My God, snake has bitten, and he died. So who killed the person? Snake or the rat?
The mind.
You know all the answers. The mind. So we tell for this art of mind control seminar. We begin with this story. Nice story, no? So 3 examples we discussed about the power of mind. Which are the 3?
The man in the cold storage,
Okay.
and the man who was stuck by the thorn but thought he was bitten by a snake.
And
And the third one is the rat and the snake
2
biting the
are,
man.
yeah, 2 are real stories. The third one is fictitious. But the power of mind. But anyway, how we went there, I don't know. In that story from our discussion. The power of mind.
No, Prabhuji, you were asking the Shiva Jwara or Vishnu Jwara.
Cold, yes.
From
Cold
there we
from
went
the
to cold storage.
we went to cold storage. My God. Chalo. So lessons are remaining anyways. So okay, Shiva Jwara, Vishnu Jwara, and then what happened was Shiva Jwara was he became defeated. He was defeated by Vishnu Jwara, and then Shiva Jwara went. He was a person actually. He had some 3 heads and 3 feet is his step, and he went to Lord Krishna and begged forgiveness. Please save me from this Vishnu Jwara. And then Lord Vishnu forgave him. Lord Krishna is there. He forgave him and he went. Shiva Jwara went. Shiva Jwara begs forgiveness. Then actually then Banasur comes back and he attacks the Lord. And then to Lord, what he does, he takes out Sudarshan Chakra. And with his Sudarshan Chakra, he cuts the Banasurs one by one arms. 1,000 arms. Only he is left with 4 arms. Who else had 1,000 arms?
Karthavir Arjuna.
Karthavir Arjuna. There also Parshuram cuts all his arms and cuts his head also. So here Lord, so why does Lord doesn't kill? No, Lord Shiva comes and then he on his behalf begs forgiveness on behalf of Banasur. Like, please forgive Banasur, don't cut his head. So Lord Krishna cuts all his arms but doesn't cut his head. So why he doesn't cut his head? Lord Banasur?
Because of Lord Shiva's request.
That one was there. Another reason was
Prahlad dynasty.
Prahlad's family, yes.
He has given promise to Prahlad, and Lord Shiva reminds him, "Hey, you have given promise to Prahlad." He says, "Okay, I have kept his 4 arms because he became too proud." Then ultimately Banasur comes, and then he brings Aniruddha and Usha, and then he tells that please accept them, and then Lord Krishna and whole Yadu dynasty, they take Aniruddha and Usha back to Dwarka, and then they are newly married there. There ends the story. So one lesson I have drawn is actually pride leads to fall. Lord doesn't like pride in somebody. So the Banasur was very proud of his arms, 1,000 arms. So much so he was proud, what he told to Lord Shiva in the previous chapter we saw.
That you are the only person who is capable of fighting with me. I am searching for a person who can satisfy me with fight.
Yeah, well, Lord Shiva only gave him that 1,000 arms, and he wanted to fight with Lord Shiva only. Lord Shiva said he will get a perfect match. So he became so proud, and then Lord Krishna cut his pride by cutting his arms. So Lord Krishna cuts the pride of those who become too proud. But it's best to remain humble. If we are not humble, then we'll be humbled.
You will tumble. You will tumble.
Stumble. Better is remain humble. So humbled hoga idhar ye. Banasur. Who else pride Lord Krishna destroyed? Somebody became too proud.
Kalia, Indra, Brahma,
Kalia,
Brahma.
Brahma was also too proud. Brahma Viman Leela. Then
Prabhuji, even Hiranyaksha was thinking nobody can defeat him. He went to fight with Varuna, and Varuna said, I surrender. You have a better person. You go and approach Vishnu.
Narad Muni directed him to Vishnu. Yeah. So he destroyed Hiranyaksha's pride also. So Lord is capable of destroying the pride. So the pride goes above the threshold, then Lord comes. Okay, Lord will tolerate. थोड़ा थोड़ा जा रहा है, ठीक है, इतना इतना ठीक है, इतना ठीक है, इससे ज्यादा बढ़ गया and it starts troubling others, then Lord will come, or Lord will arrange something, so that the pride is destroyed of that person or of that whatever. So Lord arranges, or Lord will come directly. Or we see Kesho Kashmiri also. He became so proud. Lord arranged his pride to be destroyed. And the most dear devotees of Lord, they became proud. Who were they?
Mahabali.
Gopis.
Who is Mahabali?
Bali Chakravarti.
Bali Maharaj.
Bali Maharaj.
Bali Maharaj. Okay, but that is not pride exactly.
Gopis, Prabhu.
Gopis. Yeah, Gopis. Gopis became proud of what?
Being loved by intimacy.
Krishna is there with us. Krishna is there with me. They became proud. So they became proud. Krishna left them also. Krishna doesn't like pride in his devotees or anybody. Krishna doesn't fail to break the pride. So that's why it's Radhe Radhe Bolo Chota Banke. Be humble. Jesus Christ also said that only humble and meek can enter the kingdom of God. God liked humble person. So their Banasur became too proud. And there also Parshuram cut the arms of Kartavir Arjun because the Kshatriya class became too proud. So whenever somebody becomes too proud, little bit pride one Lord Krishna, but it goes above threshold, then Krishna comes. Or Krishna will arrange for sure. There is no doubt. The pride is cut only. Jada proud nahi ban. You may become little proud, but don't go above the threshold. Threshold cross ho gaya to Krishna surely cuts through something or the other. Anybody has any experience of Lord Krishna cutting pride? He may not personally do, but somehow. No?
I have many such experiences.
Lord Krishna came to cut the pride.
Krishna sent somebody, Prabhuji, to cut my pride.
Okay, I don't. Please don't tell the name. If he is there in the class, then there will be problem.
No, Prabhuji, this is more from the corporate side.
Oh, okay.
Now,
so
after coming to Krishna consciousness, they say, why are you like this? Why are you not being aggressive? They're telling me like that now.
Oh, really? You can tell them the incidents.
Yeah.
I met one devotee. We were in bus party. We had gone to one place. So in bus party, you learn a lot of things. So we went to one place where this devotee was initiated. So he was telling his story. He was a police officer, and you see in India, the police has a special vehicle. Which vehicle they drive?
Bullet.
He had a bullet, and he would have like big mustache and bullet. He would ride with pride, And he said, if anybody used to go and overtake me, I wouldn't tolerate that. He said, if anybody would overtake me on the road, then he would compete with that person and go ahead. That he wouldn't tolerate. He himself is devotee police, So he said, I would be like that. I would never tolerate anybody going ahead of me. I was so proud, he said. Bullet like my chata tha aise sabko dikhana. When he was young. One fine day or not so fine day, he was riding like this. Some stone or something came in between and it slipped, the vehicle slipped, and the bullet went sliding for so long. It went for so many meters. It went like that, sliding, and he was caught in the below the bullet. And the bullet went sliding along with him for a long distance on the road because it was such a speed, So, and then from that time he got completely paralyzed. Actually, his right hand he is not able to move, and it's paralyzed, almost quite paralyzed, 50% paralyzed. He had to retire from police, and he recently had gone. Then he has a car which is auto gear and everything, which runs very. So he was telling, now when I drive my car, and if even a cycle wala comes, I tell him, please go ahead. You can go ahead. Anybody comes, I tell him, you can go ahead. No problem. Now that pride is crushed, he says. And I don't want now that pride is gone. Where somebody would overtake, I would feel so much insulted. But now I allow everybody to go ahead. Everybody to go ahead. When I drive the car, car also is not able to drive properly. So because his hand got paralyzed completely because of that. So like that, material nature or Lord himself will crush actually pride. Pride the Lord doesn't like. Okay, so I told one lesson. So now you all have to tell the remaining two lessons. That is the whole homework. Homework now you have to tell. Let's see who can draw some bona fide lessons.
Hare Krishna Prabhu.
Who is there?
Yogana Krishna Das.
Yes, Prabhu.
One of the lesson is only the humble and meek will enter into the kingdom of God.
Oh, this is my lesson. You have to tell differently. 3 lessons we learn. Na? So
Yes,
one lesson I have told. So two new lessons here.
Prabhuji, Krishna will protect his devotees' family, protecting Banasura. Protecting Banasura because of his
promise.
Coming under Prahlad Maharaj.
Krishna keeps his vow. Like that you can say. No? Krishna always keeps his vow. Means Krishna gave the promise to Prahlad. And I will not.
Seven generations, I think.
7, not that was for Prahlad, is liberation to his forefathers and like that. That is different. This he gave any descendants, anybody who will come. Not only descendants, but in their next birth also. Who was that? Another fellow whom Lord didn't kill directly.
Dhenukasura, Prabhuji.
But Dhenukasura was directly coming in the family.
I forgot actually.
He was before Sahasik. So Sahasik was one of the sons of our Bali Maharaj. So this Sahasik later got the birth of Dhenukasura, cursed by Durvasa. And then his next birth also Lord didn't kill. Can you imagine that? No, he didn't kill Sahasik, of course, but Sahasik became Dhenukasura, next birth. So Lord didn't kill Dhenukasura. Even in the next birth also, not in the same birth. But then why Lord killed Putana? She also comes in the...
Prabhuji, this question was raised long time back. If you remember.
1 minute.
Yeah.
Huh? It's not 12 minutes. 12 minutes is showing. It will come in auto. No? Yes. Hare Krishna. What?
Prabhuji, you had earlier clarified that generally generation means we only consider the male progeny, and the female generally they get married and get into another family. So that's the reason.
That's why Putana doesn't have right for that. Vrata. Okay, anyway, so Krishna keeps the vow. This was the lesson. Any other? Everybody can tell one.
To fall.
Huh? Right.
Pride leads to fall.
That is copyright. That I told already. You have to tell
But when we beg mercy for the Lord, he'll be definitely pleased and give the mercy, like the Shiva Jora, when it is actually glorifying and asking for mercy, Lord Krishna was pleased and actually, blessed.
Yeah, I also thought of that. The Lord has this quality of forgiveness. So when Lord Shiva approaches, later Lord Shiva also approaches, and then Lord forgives Lord Shiva also, he forgives Banasur also, he forgives Shiva Jara also. So we also should try to develop this quality of forgiveness. So Lord forgives, you see, the Lord forgive Lord Shiva, Lord forgive Shiva Jara, Lord forgive Banasura. So sometimes some people may trouble us, some people may give us hard time. But then they later they repent and then they ask forgiveness. So we should not keep that resentment. This quality of forgiveness we can learn from the Lord. So when Jesus Christ was asked by his disciples, how many times should we forgive? 7 or 70 times? What he replied?
He should forgive that more than the capacity is able to commit, like that, no?
He asked, the disciple asked whether we should forgive 7 times or 70 times. So Jesus Christ said, we should forgive 7 times 70. 7 into 70. That many times we should forgive. So the quality of forgiveness is very important as a devotee. So if we forgive others, then Lord will forgive us. So we are also committing some offense, we are also committing some mistakes. So if we don't forgive and adjust others, then Lord will also not adjust us. If we don't forgive others, then Lord will also not forgive us. So forget and forgive. And His Holiness says that a devotee forgives the offense even before the offense is completed. That is very high stage. When somebody is committing offense, that the person, the devotee, that will forgive the person even before the offense is completed. So we may not be able to at such a stage, but at least we should not keep resentment if somebody comes and begs forgiveness. Please forgive me, I did this. Or some devotees are there, not forgive. He is asking forgiveness. No, you committed such an offense against me. I am such a great Vaishnava and you committed offense. I will not forgive. I will not talk with you only. Like that. I've seen sometimes. It's so dangerous. No? If somebody is asking forgiveness, at least we should forgive. So devotee, we should understand that if we don't forgive, then what will the consequences? If we don't forgive others,
Lord
Bhagavan
also,
will not forgive us.
Lord will not forgive us there. Very dangerous. So if somebody asks forgiveness, we should forgive. Yeah, good lesson. Thank you. Any other lesson?
Prabhuji, one thing which came to my mind was that when Aniruddha was kidnapped, so although he did not have that intention to go meet Usha, but for whatever reason he was kidnapped and he had the opportunity to meet her. But like this, we also could accidentally have some opportunities in our life where we could get carried away. But we should be very cautious about the repercussions, because in this case he was there, he was caught, 4 months he was there, he was causing such a trauma for his family members. Krishna has to come with large gathering, so many deaths and that so many. So we should always be very cautious. And that too, now we have taken up this devotional line. We have to be extra cautious that we safeguard our mind. Yeah, we safeguard our mind. So that's what that came to mind.
Yeah, very nice. So yeah, Aniruddha was caught, was kidnapped there, and he went there. Yeah. So we see sometimes the lower nature may take over us. That had happened with so many, and in scriptures also so many examples are there. Ajameli, and then Pururava, and accident, sudden some accident happens, and such a nice person suddenly turns something else. So we have to be so cautious. So just like Radheshankar gives the example of milk and butter. So the milk, one can dilute the milk by adding water. So initial stages we are like milk, but when we do strong sadhana and strong hearing, reading, chanting, service, and we become strong, that same milk turns into butter. And when one becomes like solid butter, then can the butter be diluted with water?
No.
Butter cannot be diluted. So the milk can be diluted. So initially our consciousness is like milk. But by strong association and sadhana, we should try to make it as like butter, so that our consciousness cannot be diluted. Then actually then we can become strong and go and preach like that. So otherwise we can be diluted by the circumstances. Sometimes the circumstances can overcome us. And a solid example is actually Ajamil, such a nice person suddenly. So lower nature can take over us anytime. So we should try to become solid by our strong sadhana practice and service. So yeah, very nice lesson, and it's a very important lesson because human nature is very, what do you say, very susceptible. So one can be susceptible to circumstances very easily. So one has to be very, very cautious. So one should be conscious of Krishna and dash.
To be cautious of Maya.
One should be conscious of Krishna and cautious of Maya. Both. So just being conscious of Krishna is not enough. So which example I had given, I think. Yeah. So this Bharat Maharaj, he was conscious of Krishna but not cautious of Maya. And Shobari Muni was cautious of Maya but not conscious of Krishna. Is right or not?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Somebody can explain?
Yeah, Bharat Maharaj, he was alone, right? And it is said that he was without association. He was easily carried away by his compassion for the baby deer.
So he was,
he was very compassionate towards the baby deer, and he was very much attached.
Yeah, so he was conscious of Krishna, but
he was not conscious of.
Yeah, he was conscious of Krishna, but not cautious of Maya.
Yeah, yes.
And who, Shobari?
Shobari Muni, when he saw the fishes mating, he was conscious of that, but that time he forgot Krishna. So
yeah, he was not conscious of Krishna. Although he was cautious, actually he was cautious of Maya, means he went below the water to do tapasya. It's no Maya, no Maya, no Maya. I want to be saved from Maya. But he only was saying no to Maya, but not yes to Krishna. He was not a devotee. So he was cautious of Maya, but not conscious. So we have to be conscious of Krishna and conscious of Maya, both. Okay, so I have to rush now.
Just one line to add, Prabhuji, if you allow me, okay.
Yes.
Prabhuji, you were mentioning about this milk and butter. We'll have to we'll have to be. We have to, what do you say, situate ourselves in such a way where the milk is churned and eventually it becomes yogurt and then butter and finally. So then there is no question of dilution. But our mind gets carried away at any stage. So although the butter cannot be diluted, but danger of getting melted is there. So we have to be cautious at all stages.
Yeah, that is very important. And that's why our this should be good, sadhana. That's why this statement is very nice. That when the more you sweat in peace, the less you bleed in war. So when things are nice, one should sweat. One should be very serious in bhakti. So when there's a temptation comes, when something comes, then that time you can say no. But our sadhana and our hari bole, if temptation comes, then naturally we will fall to that. So when everything is peaceful, we should sweat a lot. Then we will not bleed in the war. That is the thing. So that we have to take care. I have to go now. The cab has come. I'm going to temple now. So I will leave now immediately. So
Thank you,
please
Prabhuji.
give me your permission. I have to leave. The cab has come. Okay. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
I leave. Cab has come.
Okay.
Prabhupada ki jai. Hari Bol. Hare Krishna.
Sri Chaitanya Chandra Prabhu ki jai.
Jai.
पंचाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपासिन्धुभ्यैव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। अनंत कोटि वैष्णव की जय। श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय। हरे कृष्ण।